how much was Josh Allen to blame for the Bills last night?
Look, Josh Allen deserves the majority of the blame for perfectly justifiable reasons, because no NFL team is more dependent, more reliant on one single player than the Bills are on Josh Allen.
Yep.
And I understand your Super Bowl pick because he is Superman, but he's still mortal. And last night we saw some mortality kick back in because he is Bills. He's all they have, and it's Josh or bust, and it finally busted because if you take Josh Allen on a short week and you send him to Houston to play Thursday night football against the team that leads the NFL in allowing points per game, and you send him there without Dalton Kincaid or Keon Coleman or Curtis Samuel or even Mecole Hardman, he's down 4 targets. What do you think's going to happen? Well, he's going to hold the ball a little too long. He's going to try to make a hero play. He's going to try to make a viral play.
Yep.
He's going to get sacked a career high 8 times, and he's going to throw 2 interceptions, the second of which, the game ender, was just horrible because it looks to me, and I'll wait for your breakdown here, but it looks to me like Dawson Knox on his little out route just breaks wide open, like, Josh, there.
Yes.
Oh, that.
Okay, just there. They're stuck. He's wide open. And Josh, after he's been sacked 8 times, he's fallen backwards. But why was it 4th and 6? Because of your man, Deion Dawkins, did something I never thought I would see. He was getting so gun shy, he false started on what was going to be 4th and 1.
He was trying to get out there, block those boys.
Trying to get out there because they're coming from both sides. They're coming 1,000 miles an hour. So now it's 4th and 6. And then let me move it back about 4 plays to a play from the 26-yard line with 41 seconds left. Josh Allen drops a dime on Gabe Davis. Just dropped a dime at the corner of the end zone.
Over Stingley.
And over Stingley. And it's as sweet a throw as you will ever see. It's a game-winning throw. And Gabe Davis, who's only playing his 2nd game of the year so far, he catches the football, and he's just not in rhythm and in sync, and he can't get the 2. He really didn't get any feet down, but he didn't get feet down in end zone. It was a play that if he catches it and pulls it off, Josh Allen vaults back into the MVP conversation, I think, off one throw, and they win the game. So if we look at the grand total here, he did throw 2 interceptions. He did take way too many sacks, hold the ball too long. He did have a QBR of only 26, which is pretty horrible by his standards. He did go from, as you say, he went from 3 and 3 touchdowns to 0 touchdowns. So in the end, it was ultimately his fault in a game that the Bills almost won only because of Josh Allen. That's what happened to me. You want to?
Well, I'll make the case that it's not on all Josh Allen. I think when you look at the receiver room, they're down a bunch of guys. They're missing Keon Coleman for disciplinary reasons.
Yeah.
You listed Curtis Samuel, Mecole Hardman.
And Kincaid is his security blanket.
And Kincaid, that's it. That's his guy, right?
One. Yeah.
So I think the whole supporting cast around Josh crumbled last night. The offensive line didn't play up to the standard. That was really rough to watch my boys go out there and get their butts kicked like that. Houston's pass rush is next level, and they have guys that come off that edge. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, those guys are some killers, and they were feasting last night. But I kind of look back in defensive Josh Allen and games where they haven't played well and the offense is kind of evaporated. It comes down to who he's throwing the ball to.
Yeah.
He's got Khalil Shakir, who's his number 1 receiver, who's a great slot receiver, but you have to be creative in the way they get him the ball. He doesn't have a true alpha on the outside.
He doesn't.
And another, talking about a team loss more than Josh Allen, tackling. Tackling on defense has come up. It stung them. Tampa Bay Bucks put 200 rushing yards on them the week before, and then they come into this game and needing to get some stops, and Woody Marks is just grinding them out. There's 2 and 3 tacklers there, and he's just grinding out those yards. So I won't want to put this all on Josh Allen. I want to put it on the supporting cast in that receiver room, and then the defense. The defense needs to step up and play a lot better. They almost got it done, but it just wasn't enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought the defense played well enough in this game to win, as opposed to what we've seen all season long. They held the Texans only 261 total yards. Could have been more, I'll give you that. Davis Mills missed some wide open throws and some walk-in touchdowns. But again, it's Davis Mills, a backup coming in, doing enough to get the job done. But they held him to 2 of 12 on third down. That's winning football. If you can do that when you have Superman at quarterback, you give your offense a chance to win games. But talking about Superman, I think that's the biggest thing with Josh Allen, and I say it all the time, is knowing when to be Superman and knowing when to be Clark Kent, knowing when to just make the pedestrian play. That's okay. You don't always have to be a hero. You have to make the right play. But to your point, Skip, and you said it very well, is he has to be Superman every single play. That he has no other option. But in this game, those 2 interceptions for me, that really was a difference maker. The first one, you have Elijah Moore in the slot. We're targeting Elijah Moore because of injuries. I understand that. But you have him in the slot running a deep curl route. You have the flat zone defender and you have the hook defender. Both drop 10 yards underneath. What do? As a young quarterback off of play action you're taught, as soon as those 2 defenders drop out, take a profit. Hit James Cook in the flat, let him get 10 yards, get a first down. That, to me, is tough to defend, saying you're trying to be Superman. That's just a simple play where you go 1 to 2. If it's not there, find your back, move on. The second interception, and that was and exactly what you said, Skip, just get the ball to Dawson Knox. They have double crossers underneath, and then you have a deep cross by Palmer on the backside. The Texans played it perfectly, too. If you watch the film on the All-22, Stingley passed it off to Kalen Bullock perfectly. But if I'm pre-snap on that play, I see Bullock already outside of Palmer. He's playing down tight. I watch Bullock at USC, too. He is phenomenal. That's where he excels, is that middle field safety, reading your eyes, reacting, making a play on the football. He's one of the best in the NFL right now, and I watched him do it for a couple years at USC. But don't try to force that. I don't need you to go 20 yards down the field. Dawson Knox comes wide open, and that's where your eyes should be first, too. That's your primary target. That deep cross is an alert. I'm not alerting that unless I love the matchup, and initially it was Stingley, so I'm off that. I'm working Knox, get the first down, get out of bounds. He might even score, and I know they had an offensive PI, but regardless, you make the right play, you get the PI, you still give yourself another chance. So I can't put it all on Josh Allen. You talk about the sacks. He did hold the football too long. That goes back to wanting to be Superman, to find those big-time plays. But I also got to give credit. I don't want to talk about blame. I got to give credit. That Texans defense right now is legit. I watched the film, and I'm like, where do you attack these guys? There's nowhere to gain an advantage when you're the opposing offense. They just do everything so well. They don't give up explosive plays. They don't give you a lot in the run game. It's tough to push the ball down the field. And we talked about Will Anderson and how well he played. The sacks were awesome, 2.5. That pass rush. The play of the game for me was that tip ball on 3rd and 1 when he tried to get it to Shakir. Because if they complete that, had one guy that maybe could have made the tackle, at least the first down, he might have scored. But the fact that he had the ability to get up and tip that football was huge. So, again, it's tough for me to put it on Josh Allen. I picked the Bills to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. I'm not fully out, but you're out, TJ. I see you shaking your head, man. I think they got to get some things figured out.
Yeah, it's fully to blame on Josh Allen. It's fully to blame because Josh Allen is Superman, and when we see these victories from him and doing all these amazing things, he gets the cape. But when they lose in this manner, he's never the villain. It's always the supporting cast. It's always who he doesn't have or who got injured or who's not there, right? So for me, Josh Allen, you have to get rid of the ball, all right? You can't hold on to the ball. We know you're trying to make plays and, be that Superman and win the game, but sometimes you just have to rely on, your running game first and foremost. I think they got away from Cook, giving Cook the ball, right? Stay with the run. Stay with the run, and we know what the defense is. The defense has been trash all year. So to come in and say it was a defense fault for not holding Mills and keeping him out of the end zone, keeping their offense out of the end zone, has nothing to do with why they lost the game. They lost the game simply because he got sacked 8 times, and he turned the ball over twice and didn't score any touchdowns. Point blank, period. And if he's going to be Superman, he has to be Superman week in and week out. So when he's not successful, then he has to take the full brunt of that blame.
But wouldn't you agree they wouldn't have been in the game without him? Like they had a legit shot to win the game.
They did,
right?
They had a legit shot. A couple
of
those
drives. That's why I said
drives.
the defense gave him a chance.
Yeah, they gave him a chance.
That's all you want.
Okay.
I think you made a good point about Josh Allen. And I had this conversation with a bunch of my guys I played with in Buffalo, and it was, what are the shortcomings in the playoffs? And one of the things that I said was, it's the rhythm and timing throws. It's getting a drive started, hitting the crosser, hitting that flat route, instead of moving around and making that hero ball throw. Sometimes the offense stalls out, but he's out there running around trying to make too much happen. Now, that won him the MVP, but when you got to get the offense back on track or you're deep in a playoff game, You got to hit those rhythm and timing throws to give the offense rhythm, to give the offense
And
life.
when you're not
to get
playing
them
a
going.
a great offense, especially with a backup quarterback, you just got to play the field position game. Like, don't take the loss of yards. Punt the ball. Let your defense go out there and maintain what they're doing. They're not great, but they can maintain, especially against a backup, and play the field position ball, run the field position game. But you're trying to make the big play every third down, every passing situation. It doesn't need to be done.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well, I think he's searching too. I mean, there's nobody running wide open. There's nobody with separation. Keon Coleman's on the bench. He's in the doghouse. But even when he was playing, he wasn't getting much separation. Khalil Shakir's great, shifty, but he's a small target. Kincaid, who's another big target for him, kind of up and down with the injuries. But I mean, he's standing back there holding the ball. But if you look at the backside of that, nobody's open. And so that's one of those things where he's forced in a hero ball, and it's worked. Those plays to Gabe Davis and a couple plays here and there. But when you give up 8 sacks like that and you get whacked in the backfield, it's over.
To your point too, I get what you're saying, blaming Josh Allen. And the reason I'm on board with that a little bit too, looking at it from a bigger perspective, is sometimes the Superman plays are unnecessary. And it's like sometimes he'll make a hero play and it's like, all right, not a lot of people can make that play in the NFL, but then sometimes he throws a chest pass from his own goal line,
He did.
which you can't even
Against the
put that
Bucs.
in the Superman category. That's just a bad play.
Which he followed up with 6 touchdowns.
He did. He did.
Yeah,
That,
right, exactly.
That's
You gotta take
good
the
and
good
bad.
with
You
the bad
do.
with Superman.
But if he can eliminate those, it didn't hurt him against the Bucs. But if it comes down to some of those plays, to where he throws a chest pass, or instead of just throwing the check down and trying to make the big time play, or taking 8 sacks against the Texans, if you can eliminate those, even without the weapons he has on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to see more production because he's capable of doing that.
Then he almost gets hurt. He was down for
Yeah,
a
he got
while.
a couple
Like,
times.
what do you
That
do
was not
then
fair.
when he's out?
He was down.
Like, you're doing
done.
all this, and you like you said, that D-line and them ends are coming. And them some big boys that are very aggressive, very athletic, and very hungry to get to Josh Allen. You get hurt for any amount of games, the Buffalo Bills are done.
It's done.
Done.
Yeah.
finito. So you
So-
got to be smarter.
It was so weird. He goes down and he is writhing on the ground like
Pain.
I
Like
thought
happy.
something went
Yeah,
like he busted his elbow
almost
or
like a
something.
little tantrum.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he just it's over.
Yeah.
They're over.
They're
They're
over.
done. Right?
Right.
That's exactly
And-
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
30 seconds pass and he sits up and then he gets up and then he trots to the side. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
All that?
Where did that come from?
All that?
Yeah.
All that for that?
Just need to breathe or skip. He's tired, man.
You
He's
need
doing
to
it all.
shake it out.
You know
Yeah.
what, though? I want to, and I know we talk offense, even slot. You know what else deserves some credit in this game, though, is Tommy Townsend. The pinning them deep, the punter for the Texans, it's hard enough going up against that defense in the regular field, but having to go now backed up on a majority of your drives because they just keep pinning you deep, that makes it even more tough. So that's a lot of credit to the Texans special teams, and also the Bills missed an extra point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could have, argue was the difference at the end of that
Okay,
game.
so you made the point that the Texans' defense is impenetrable. They give you nothing.
They don't.
But they did have one shocking breakdown to me. Our friend of show, James Cook, got loose on him and busted him
Big run,
for
yeah.
45 yards. And I'm like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Because they don't do that.
Yeah.
And he ended up carrying it 17 times for 116, but that's counting the 45, obviously. But I do like them better when he gets 25 carries. You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
let's just try to play football instead of we
I didn't
play
love
hero
the
ball,
fourth
right?
one, though,
Okay.
up the middle.
Hey,
that
that
was like,
defense
Fourth and one
also
was messy.
Up
They
the
also
middle,
gave
that was
up
like-
a 4th and 27 on the hook and ladder, too, that we didn't talk about yet.
Although,
That
you know what was
hook and
funny
ladder
about
on
that?
4th and-
Everybody calls it a hook and lateral.
Or an in-cut ladder, yeah.
Okay, but a hook came from I don't know if this is way before your time, but it used to be called a button hook,
Yeah.
where you would literally hook back to the quarterback and you hit him for like 8 yards and he tosses backwards to somebody cutting underneath, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of a deep cross, right? The angle is kind of away from Josh Allen, and the timing required on that play has to be phenomenal. It has to be perfect, where you have to catch it on the fly, and he's got to be boom right there.
Yeah.
And they almost pulled. Well, I thought it was going to break.
He almost
for a second.
did. He got
almost
the corner
did.
to
Yeah.
bite. I didn't love, and look, I know the Texans live and die by their defense. I don't love that they rushed 5 and played 1 high. I'm thinking drop 8 and play at the stick. It's 4th and 27.
Wow.
I know you live and die by that pass rush, but I was curious what you thought on that play.
I I like what they did. I
You like
hate
them
when
being aggressive
teams
there?
sit back
Okay.
when they've been getting to the quarterback all game, and in the most crucial time, they sit back and drop everyone.
Right.
It usually doesn't work out well.
4th and 27.
I know, but that pressure package, I
Yeah,
mean, you
you
can
don't
rush
have to
4 and
blitz.
get after him. You
Exactly.
put another body in there, you
Yeah.
make him go 5-on-5 and get
Yeah.
after him.
That's
But
very
yeah,
true.
Kinsey, that was a good point. That 4th and 1 play was a disaster.
I even like the
That
call
was
of it. I'm
awesome.
like, we also it was all
Right.
we also was coming.
You're at a point in the game where you know it's going to come down to 4th down. You know you're going to be close. You have your number 1 play dialed up, ready to go. He's in the huddle in like 16, 15 seconds. He's looking to the sideline like, what are we doing? They go out there and they get absolutely stuffed. It looked bad.
Okay,
That's
then
bad.
he went to the sideline, Josh did, and threw his helmet and
Yeah.
sat down, and again, you could read his lips. What are we doing?
Yes.
And I thought he was saying, why wasn't the ball in my hands on
Right.
4th and 1?
That's exactly
Yeah,
what
right.
That's
It was
too
exactly
much
what he was
movement,
saying.
man.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Too
exactly
much
what he was
movement.
saying.
They put the corner blitz. Corner played that run game. He stood that fullback.
Hey,
Yeah.
He stood a fullback.
Lassiter he's like a linebacker to me. He just blows up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they were, that Texans defense is primed. Like, I love where the NFL is right now. We're running the ball, and a lot of teams are putting their eggs in the defensive basket. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah, speaking of that, Skip, I kind of want to dive into the Texas defense
Let's.
because they are insane. I was scared for Josh Allen. I mean, 8 sacks. I mean,
That's true.
it was so physical.
Yeah.
Even the ref gets carted off. The game was so physical. That was great.
At least he didn't get run over. He
I know, he just pulled
Yeah,
his
it was
hamstring. But I'm like,
non-contact
I kept seeing everybody injured. I'm like, dang, physical game. So how far can this Texas defense
You
carry?
guys want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go. I mean, that Houston defense, that could carry them a long way.
Okay.
Long way. Obviously, offense in the quarterback situation will be the limiting factor, but that defense is nasty. Daniil Hunter is a stud, big, tall guy. I mean, the guy could play basketball. He's so tall and he's so explosive off the edge. Will Anderson, welcome to the NFL. I mean, this guy's been making these plays, but to actually see it and watch them just decimate that Buffalo Bills offensive line, that is usually pretty good. Those guys are really good up front. They've been healthy up front. So, yeah, I mean, you look at the guys coming off the edge and then the big bodies in the middle pushing the pocket, really giving nowhere to go for the quarterback. And then the linebackers, they're flying around making plays. You got Stingley in the back end. You got the guy who made a bunch of plays last night, Bullock. And, I mean, this defense could carry them really, really far.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, anytime you could get to the quarterback, you have a chance. I like to see them, be better against the run a little bit, but they're athletic on every level. When you have athleticism on every level, and like Coach Wade used to say, you have one job, and that's to get to the ball. Everyone has different responsibilities, but it's everyone's job to get to the ball. And on every
You're talking
level.
about Wade Phillips.
Oh, Wade. What did I say? I'm sorry.
Coach Wade. It's
Coach
okay.
Wade. Oh, yeah,
It's
Coach
all right.
Wade. So the back end, they get those turnovers. They got 2 guys with 5 interceptions, and Stingley, he gets to the end zone when he makes those plays. So anytime you can score on defense and get those sacks, man, you got a chance to go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're disruptive. Like I said, watching the film last night, just trying to figure out where you can beat these guys at, and there's not a lot of areas that you can take advantage of. What impressed me the most, though, against Josh Allen, which is important too, when you play in the AFC against all these quarterbacks and you play against Lamar and Josh and all these guys, is discipline with your rush lanes. Yeah, they create a lot of pressure, but the reason that Josh was holding the ball so long when guys weren't open, because normally he's used to something opening up or getting outside of contain and being able to take off and hurt you with his legs. They had one play where Will Anderson, they had a TE stunt where they twisted inside, he got outside, picked up a big gain on that. But outside of that, you could see him. As soon as the play wasn't there down the field, his eyes dropped. Where can I go? Everyone is disciplined in their rush lanes. There was no breathing space, and he couldn't get anything going. And then the other thing with this defense, man, they just take the ball away. They continue to take the ball away. I really like Bullock. I like Stingley. They're finding ways to make up for some of the deficiencies on offense. They bailed Davis Mills out a couple times. And Davis Mills, to his credit, didn't turn the ball over, but they easily should have had 2 or 3 more touchdowns if he hit some of those big-time plays. But, yeah, when it comes down to this defense, absolutely think they can carry them into the playoffs. And if you look at their record, they go at Indy, at KC, Arizona, Las Vegas at home, and they go at the Chargers and then Indy again. I don't know if they catch the Colts, but they play them twice. And those division games count as 2, so they could, but they're 6-5 right now. I think they can win at least 4 of those games to get to 10-7, and I think they do sneak into a wild card spot.
Okay, so even though I'm picking Oregon against your Trojans,
come on.
I got to give your Trojans this. I had not recognized Kalen Bullock yet. I hadn't said, oh, he's a guy. He can really.
He's a guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's a guy. And last night, Thursday Night Football solo stage, he took the game over. So he gets 2 picks. He forces the fumble on Shakir. the punch out.
That was a big play.
Big play. And he actually picked six the first interception. And there was the
Terrible block
stupid,
again.
just a ridiculous, I think it was like a vengeance block or something. I think he had to score to settle or something. I don't know. But he was going to score anyway. And it was a running back score where he was making people miss everywhere. Like it was highly impressive, even though it got called back. So I'm going to give your ex-Trojan big props.
Yeah.
Because you want to talk about back-ending a great unit. Woo!
Yes.
Okay,
They're
now
going to need him Saturday, too. He needs to go back to SC.
Oh, they're going to need him.
But he was a monster at SC.
He
but
was, man.
Uh,
he's
show you
stepping
some
into
film
his
skip
own,
through
man.
from the SC
He's
days. I remember the first game I watched. They're like, keep an eye on number 7. This was back 2022, I think.
Okay, but who's your coordinator? Alex Grinch, right?
At SC?
Yeah.
No, he's gone now.
I know, but when Bullock was there,
Yeah.
okay, he's the Grinch who stole defense,
Yeah,
right?
he
I mean, because he was with my Sooners at Oklahoma, and I'm just closing my eyes. So I couldn't read any credibility
Gotcha.
to anybody I saw in your defense because it was pretty horrible, right? By former
No, it was.
FC
It was. No,
standards.
100%. And then now you got Danton Land. We're starting to get a little bit better.
You're
on defense,
getting
but
better.
Dan,
I'm with
he's
you.
great.
Okay.
I'm with
He's
you.
great.
Yeah.
All right, now allow me to say this, and I'm going to take my stand again on this. Once again, I watch a defensive end. This one's name is Will Anderson Jr., and he's just a stud where he's better than Micah Parsons. He just is.
I was thinking that last
Okay,
night.
seriously,
Yeah.
every time I watch him, he's got bend, he's got explosive athletic ability where he's got slither to him, and he's nasty coming off the edge.
Yeah.
Just flat out,
Relentless.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to, not that he wants to kill Josh Allen, but he wants to
he
get
did
him.
say that.
I know,
He
I
was
got it.
thinking that.
Severely
I got
injure him.
But that's the mentality. That's the body language. I'm watching him. I watched Micah for 4 years, and I couldn't see that. I saw explosive. I saw quickness. I saw speed that you've probably never seen in a pass rusher before in Micah Parsons. But it always goes straight upfield past the quarterback. There aren't enough pressures where you actually get your hands, you bend into the quarterback, and you're about to knock the ball out. 3 or 4 times he almost knocked the ball out just bending, right? That elasticity, I don't know. This guy he's the killer, but the other guy, the basketball player,
yeah,
is
the
really
big dude,
good
yeah,
too.
yeah.
So when you got him coming both ways and you got
Yes.
corner blitzes,
Yes.
so there's no doubt the defense can carry. But the answer to this question is, it's going to be how far the offense takes
Right,
them.
that's what it
because remember was it a Thursday night game where they were at Seattle? We came back in the next day. It was a Thursday night game where Houston was at Seattle.
Yes,
right?
and the offensive line was terrible.
It was horrible.
Yeah,
they
they
couldn't
were bad.
block anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure they've fixed all that. I don't know, but I don't know what's wrong with CJ because usually you don't stay in concussion protocol this long.
Right.
Because he cost me a dinner to Aqib because remember
Yes,
he
he
got
did.
knocked out. And here came Davis Mills, and I got to give it up to Davis Mills because he was horrible against Denver that day. But that was tough sledding, man. You get thrown into that fire.
Yeah.
But he's won 3 in a row since, and he starts off horrible last night, 1 for his first 8, and as you said, he was just missing throws where you're like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Right? And then all of a sudden, he made a few throws.
Yeah, he did.
And he made enough throws to win the game.
And he protected the football.
He protected
And
it.
Josh didn't. That
He
was the
didn't.
big
Okay,
difference
that's
in that
it.
game.
And that's what usually tells the tale
Yep.
in all these games. So I'm still not exactly sold on the offense.
Okay.
But the defense, I mean, can they win the AFC just with defense? I don't think so. Because at some point, there's going to be a Josh Allen where you're going to have to outscore him. He's going to make more plays than Davis Mills.
I don't know, Skip, this defense, man, they're not giving up. They're not giving up a lot of points. And if Aqib was sitting here, I could just hear him saying the first thing I look at is the defense. If I don't trust the defense,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're a contender.
Yeah.
I trust this defense as much as any other defense in the NFL right now. I mean, they can get it done in many different ways, and they proved last night against Josh Allen what they can do to one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and the reigning MVP. So who says they can't continue to do that if they go on a run in the AFC? But I'm with you. Is it going to come down to a shootout at one point where you are off a little bit or the opposing team game plans well against your defense, and now you got to go put up 30 in that game? Is your offense capable of doing that?
I mean, but I like CJ Stroud. I like Nico Collins. I just don't think they're connecting right now. So I think if they get back to
because they weren't
form,
connecting when he was healthy,
Right, yeah, they weren't flowing when he was healthy, exactly.
But last year, Nico Collins was a machine.
like
he was on. So I'm like, there's something there's hope there. It's not like they don't have pieces that
The biggest
work.
piece to that is going to be Nick Caley, their first-year offensive coordinator. I was with Nick in New England.
Oh,
like
were
him
you?
a lot.
Yeah.
Great person.
Wow.
This is his first year as offensive coordinator. Can he continue to find a rhythm? I know it's been tough with the injuries and now Davis Mills and Stroud out. But if he can get in a rhythm with this offense, and remember, you just got to get hot at the right time.
Get hot, yeah.
If they can get hot towards the end of the season and get things going.
December,
What is
January.
consistent is defense. Offenses go up and down.
Yeah.
But when you have a defense and they're only giving up 16, 18 points a game, that goes throughout the season.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you might have a game where Josh Allen scores 6 touchdowns. Then you have a game where he takes 8 sacks and you can't beat Mills and the Texans. So I trust defense way more than I trust the offense, and getting into a shootout doesn't worry me. My defense can stop a shootout. We haven't given up 30 points all year. We're not going to give up 30 points in the playoffs. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So your quarterback, your receivers, everything better be on point from your offense. Your offensive line, the play calling, everything has to go right if you want to go into a playoff game expecting to win in a shootout. But if I know if I go into a playoff game and my defense is playing sound defense, we got a chance to win. We probably are going to win.
I think I agree, Skip. The limiting factor for them is the offense, and then if we look at it, it's the offensive line. They played in that Seattle game up there, and they got blasted. They
Seattle's defense.
Seattle is
see what they
insane
did.
right now.
But
Seattle
Seattle's
crazy.
defense is good, right? But they were blowing them up. They couldn't get anything done. Now they come in versus a Bills front who's down a couple bodies on the inside. They're supposed to be able to run the ball, and I still see guys hanging off blocks. I still see guys running in there free. This is a game where they said, hey, Buffalo's not stopping the run very well. They're not tackling very well. We need to establish the run, and it was like in spurts here and there. Sometimes they got it going. They got a little chunk here. So, I mean, the offensive line literally is going to hold back that entire
If you give a bad offense more opportunities with a good defense, you got to shine. Like you said, Davis Mills was out there missing everything early. But he kept getting opportunities because of the defense. What Buffalo has is an undisciplined defense.
Yes.
I was infuriated watching the defense, especially in the red zone. They're letting guys get inside when they shouldn't get inside. They're running up on play action. It's like, you're not going to win anything like that. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, you better get 6 touchdowns from your quarterback.
Old school NFL, you win by defense and running the football, controlling the clock. Defense getting you stops, hand it to that back and run him downhill 25 times a game, and then take your shots when you know you have a chance.
You know, Rich, you like to go forward.
Yeah, that's right. To your point, remember, Tampa goes for 202 against Buffalo at Buffalo, and last night Houston ran for only 108 yards. So that's pretty pathetic against that defense, which is second worst at stopping the run. So you're not even showing me, even though it's another USC kid, and I like him, but he wasn't exactly running wild last night.
No, he wasn't.
When you have the backup QB in, you gotta lean on the offensive line up front. Tampa just gashed them. I know they were game planning this week, and they said, listen, we got to get the run game going. And it worked. 108 yards is passable, but it was drips and drabs. It wasn't big runs.
Yeah, and by the way, Cody, you are sitting in a Keeb seat today.
I am sitting in a
So
Keeb.
before this show's over, I need at least one MF from you. Do we have one? One. Please, one.
You got big shoes to
one.
fill.
Man, I don't know.
Can you do it?
I'll see if I can drop one.
Motherfucker!
I'll Richie say it for me. I'll work one in.
You got it, Cody. Loosen up. All right, so the guys are kind of on the same page that the defense wins games. And so there's hope for the Texans, but let's flip the script and talk about a team that their defense clearly struggled all year.